Hi, Jason Tushman back here with episode 5 of Best Practices for Patient Acquisition, here to talk to you about return on investment expectations by practice. This can be a little bit philosophical, this can be a little bit subjective, but we're going to get into it and try to make it as objective as possible. First and foremost, when you're looking at return on investment expectations by practice, you have to consider the two most important things. One is, what are your expectations as the individual? Okay, how do you want to spend your time? How do you want to spend your money? And the second thing is, what market are you in? Because that is absolutely going to make an impact, assuming all things equal, based on your return on investment expectations. So, first, let's talk about the lever of time. How much do you, as an individual, want to spend into growing your return on investment? The more time you're going to put into your business, the more money you're going to make. It's a simple fact, okay? So that's really going to help impact that ROI, assuming that you're doing everything appropriately within the practice. The second thing is, and this really only makes an impact in the earlier stages of a practice, how much money do you have, okay? If you're a new practice and you've spent a ton of money on putting your infrastructure together, you may not have as much money available to marketing. So you really want to balance that out in your earlier years, because you want to leave money available for your marketing. Because if you haven't bought a practice, you don't have an installed client base, you're new to town, you're going to have to put some money into advertising. So the next thing you want to think about is, what market are you in, okay? ROI is going to be, to a certain extent, driven by the market. And what I mean by that is not that you can't get the ROI that you want, but the ability to get it is going to be more difficult in competitive markets. So, first thing you also need to consider is, what are the number of competitors I have, okay? And be honest with yourself on that. How many direct competitors do you have? So if you're a board-certified plastic surgeon, how many board-certified plastic surgeons do you have? But also, how many indirect competitors do you have, okay? How many oral surgeons are creeping into your market? How many cosmetic surgeons that are not board-certified are in your market? Whatever that may be, if you're a dentist and you're doing Invisalign and competing against orthodontists, you want to look at both your indirect and direct competitors. The other thing you want to understand is, what are the number of marketing channels you have available? Larger markets are going to have more channels. They're going to have a larger market for paid placement. They're going to have all of the digital of organic search engine optimization, but you're also going to have, even down to local TV shows, more radio stations, more print offerings, all things that can potentially be a decent media mix depending upon the practice that you want to run and the return on investment that you want to get based on how aggressive you're going to be. So, think about how much time and money do you want to put into this, and how many competitors, and what are the number of marketing channels that you have, okay? So the general theory is basically that the longer you're in practice, okay, the higher your ROI should be, the higher your return on investment should be. Now, that means the longer your practice is, the more mature your practice is, you're going to have more clients, you're going to have more offers in the marketplace, you're going to develop a reputation, it's going to become easier to acquire customers. So if we just take an average rule of thumb, in the 0 to 5 years, the first 5 years of a practice that hasn't acquired a practice with an existing client base, you should be looking at being at a 100 to 200% ROI. Okay? You're going to have to invest money. It's going to cost you more to acquire those customers, because things like your website aren't as mature and things like that. So you're going to spend more money in the first years. You're going to have a lower return on investment. Now, when you get into kind of that 5 to 10 year range, okay, you can drive that number up to a 200% to 300% ROI. And the reason this number starts to grow faster as the practice matures is two things, really. One is age of your practice. It also becomes the age and size, okay, of your client base. You're going to start to drive more referrals here, okay? You're going to have some brand recognition if you've been advertising back in these earlier years. So you're going to start to get an easier patient acquisition process through your marketing, assuming that you're doing things productively on your key performance indicators, which means your return on investment is going to drive higher faster. Now, the other thing that happens that's very important during these stages is, if you're starting a new practice, your search engine optimization of your website is going to mature, okay? So as the maturity of your website improves and everything's been done appropriately, you should be getting more rankings, you should be getting more backlinks, which is going to drive up your return on investment as well if you're managing that process appropriately. Now, when you get into 10 plus, based on lifetime value, you should easily be able to run 300+%, if not to 500 and greater on your marketing. And frankly, the dollars that you spend should be going down. Because during these stages, as you start to grow and you acquire an existing client base, you can spend marketing time on things that cost essentially $0 because you have events that you can run to your existing client base, you have specials, and a variety of other things that basically cost you no money to generate revenue and increase your return on investment. So think about how you want to spend your time and money. Remember the marketplace you're in. Follow this as a guideline, but at the end of the day, it's up to you and what you want to accomplish. Best of luck to you.